Welcome to the You're Not Invisible After 50 podcast. I'm Kiran Kumar, founder and host of You're Not Invisible After 50. Despite the title, you don't have to be over 50 to listen to this podcast. No matter whether you're 25, 45, or 65, we can all learn lessons from each other to help us build a better, more fulfilled life. Come listen to the inspiring stories of all the phenomenal women over 50 who are kicking ass and making an impact. They are not invisible. I'm not invisible, and neither are you. So, no matter what society says, life doesn't end at 50. In fact, it's just beginning. Welcome to the You Are Not Invisible After 50 podcast. I'm Kiran and host of this podcast. We're all about showcasing phenomenal women over 50 who are kicking ass and making an impact. You'll get to hear all the inspiring stories why you don't have to be invisible after 50. So sit back and enjoy the wonderful life story from this week's guest. My guest today is Rajeshwari, Kulkarni, Eka Dimple. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, I'm so glad you agreed, my friend. Thank you for choosing to come onto the You're Not Visible After 50 podcast. I'm so looking forward to doing this with you. Let's get you to introduce yourself to our listeners in one line or more before we move on to the body of the podcast.
So, hello, everybody. I'm Dimple Kulkarni, and I would call myself accidental hero slash peacock. Um, how I see myself is I explore life like there's no tomorrow, literally taking each day as it comes, enjoying myself, and making the most of every moment that comes my way. So that's me in a nutshell.
I think it's a beautiful nutshell. I think it's a beautiful philosophy, and we're going to talk about it as we move on. So, in this podcast, we're going to cover your life story, the past, the present, if there was a trigger point at 50, which made you change and look at life differently. So, let's look at the past. Let's start there.
The past is where I grew up in a very modest, conservative household in India, Mumbai. Born and bred in Mumbai, and my academics, I basically completed my Bachelor of Arts, majoring in psychology. Met my husband when I was 15. I was in year 10 when I met my husband, my brother's best mate. And young love just blossomed. And at the ripe old age of 20, I was married. And my husband, Amma, he got a scholarship with ECU. So we decided to explore the MBA program and move to Western Australia, in Australia, Perth. And it was a huge learning curve for me as a 21-year-old to be married and go to a completely different country, struggling with the accent, um, different lifestyle, the food, all of that was a sharp, sharp learning curve. But then you embrace it with open arms because you're like a sponge absorbing all of that, and then over a period of time you kind of evolve and you become part of that system. And 26 years on, it's been a beautiful journey. I've got two kids. I've got a son and a daughter, pigeon pair as we call them, and they're doing beautifully well. And they're based in Sydney. The whole ecosystem's in Sydney currently. So yeah, so that's how life has been treating us. And then the move from Australia to the Middle East happened around 7 years ago. Husband's work got us to the Middle East. So currently, I'm based in Qatar. So that's my journey thus far.
My mother was a very similar age and moved from India to the UK. And, it's quite interesting to think what they experienced or what somebody would experience at such a young age. And, coming to a different country and having to relearn, learn, absorb, as you said. What were some of the challenges that you faced?
First off the bat was the accent. And when I say the Australian accent back in 1993, 94 was very, very strong. I compare it to the accent currently by most Australians. I say it's diluted because of the diversity that has been brought into the country. We have different races, we have different ethnicities which are blended with cross marriages. The accent has completely diluted. But I'm going back in 1993, 94. It was quintessentially Australian. And because we moved to Western Australia, which was up north, it was far more pronounced than what it would be on the eastern states. So I still remember the first time when we were at the malls or having a conversation, it would we would stare at the longest time just to understand what the bloke is trying to say. And we had our own challenges. Not everyone in society was accepting. We did have some comments here and there, and you chin up, you take it in your own stride, and you build from there. So that was the biggest kind of step at the boundaries that we needed to cross to kind of learn and absorb and take it from there.
It's actually quite interesting. It's about prejudices because, that's a very sensitive point, but because even now, today, we see it all around the world still happening, which is absolutely terrible because we've moved on so many years, we're progressed as society, and yet we still see that. So, of course, at that time, and as I said, my mom and dad came to the UK in the 50s, 60s. It was very hard for them. And you just kind of, and in anyone who's going to any country that's different, obviously, and you stand out because of the color of your skin, you are going to be, in a way, and shot at. We live in a much more diverse world. So that's really interesting. Let's talk about your career, because your career is interesting in terms of, how you got into what you got into, and then we can move on into the present. So let's talk about a little bit about your career. So what would you like to say about that?
My career, again, accidental career. So nothing in my life has been planned or structured. You know how you have people who actually go, I'm going to study this, and this is the trajectory that I'm going to go through. For me, my academic background is completely different to what I've actually gone down the path of. So my move to Australia, husband was a student. The rules then, and it's kind of completely changed now, but the rules then were student could only work 20 hours a week. The spouse, however, could work full time. So the ownership of, kind of building your life and starting came up to me. Fresh off the boat, not knowing the language very well. Language, when I say language, the accent. English, no dramas, but it was the accent. What kind of work would I get into? The degrees that we had obtained in India were not recognized in Australia, which meant that we needed to re-educate or kind of apply to universities, get their stamp of approval before we could go down that path. I remember walking down one of the main malls, the Hay Street Mall, and I saw these people doing interviews. They had this government badges on, and they were doing these interviews, calling people to show them some videos, and then a questionnaire that they had to answer, which intrigued me. So I approached one of them and I said, how do I get this job? And they said, you just need to go and speak with blah, 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 and put your information in. And I recall the lady going, Christine, the supervisor's name. She goes, your accent is very different. How will you fit in? How will people understand you? And I said, give me a go. And I'm a quick learner. And sure enough, they put me on a trial period. And the rest, as they say, is history. I worked with AC Nelson, one of the largest market research companies in the world. And I worked with them for 7 years, learned on the go, and been a beautiful journey. In between that time frame, I had my kids and I took a break. So when my daughter was born, I took a break from AC Nelson. And as she got older, and when we moved from Perth to Sydney, that's when I thought I should look at different opportunities. So there was this ad in the paper then, which asked for customer service officers if they were interested in applying for that role. Not knowing it's a financial institution, I picked up the phone, I expressed my interest for that role. They called me in for an interview. We had to go through a gamut of psychological testing, some math questions. It was like an hour worth of little gizmo thingies that I had to do. And I got shortlisted. and started working for one of the major fours in Australia, in Sydney. And I built my career from there. So 15 long years with Westpac, and it's been a fabulous journey. So no degree in accounting, no background of finance, and yet here I was a senior RM looking after HNI, which is high net worth individuals. Worked in large corporates, which is institution bank. Was a commercial manager, business manager, and yeah, so
It's really
been a great
interesting.
journey.
It's really interesting. Sometimes, you as you said, like you have sometimes go down this traditional route and then suddenly, or you think you're going to, and then suddenly opportunities open up because I think your one is open to things, right? And then the opportunities come, things that you may not have thought about or even considered previously, or you think, okay, I'm going to give it that a go because it sounds different. Let's give it a chance. I think it's having that openness and allowing things to come to you. And as you said, some things just fall into your lap because you were at the right place at the right time with the right mindset.
And manifesting it to the universe
Up,
that please
up,
make it happen. This is what I want. So the energies that you put out is what kind of comes back to you tenfold.
absolutely. Absolutely, I totally agree. I mean, we could talk about that for like ages, but we're not going to, unfortunately. But we could, obviously. Um, So let's talk about. So you got into banking and you were in Sydney. Then you moved to Qatar. So that move, that shift. Just talk me through that.
So one of the little secrets that it's not a secret anymore, but my soul is a wandering soul, a restless wandering soul. So anything which is starts kind of plateauing out for me, I have this itch of wanting to do something more. So it's almost like you go in, you see something, you conquer. Once you've kind of put your footprint on that, then I want to move on and explore new horizons. My husband on the other end is very sedate, calm, happy with things going along, and I'm the one who kind of keeps on kind of prodding him. So being in Australia for almost 20, 25 years, we decided, or rather, I told my husband, I said, we need to look at different horizons. Let's step out and try different countries. And luckily for us, this opportunity for Qatar came through to him. And we moved to Qatar. Prior to moving to Qatar, our stint in Australia started off with Perth. We then moved to Sydney. In between, we moved to Brisbane for around about 2 years, back to Sydney, and then from Sydney to Qatar. Qatar, currently, I've been here for 7 years and just kind of enjoying the lifestyle, Arabian Nights, as I call it. It's very close to India, so 3 hours. Love visiting my family now and then, as opposed to the 16-hour journey that we used to first do. So it's been lovely. Yeah.
Fantastic. So that kind of brings you on to the present. Before we talk about the present, was there, I'm not sure what comes first actually. Is it the trigger point for you or was it the social media bit for you first?
The trigger point. The
Okay.
trigger point for me was it was a double whammy as I see it. I turned 50, COVID hit, and my younger child, my daughter, we dropped her off February of 2020 to Sydney to pursue her degree. Came back, so dropping her off was okay, an emotional thing that hey, my bacha is going kind of thing, and then we came back to Qatar just in time. It was just like meant to be. Like we flew in, and literally in a week after that, the airports were shut down because of COVID. The whole world basically shut down. And at that point, I think I was menopausal, which I didn't realize in hindsight is a wonderful thing, as they say. I didn't know what was happening with me. I put it down to being empty nester, not realizing at the same time being menopausal. It was like I was in this dark abyss and I couldn't see the light at all. It was the darkest time of my life. I I need to say that very strongly to people, whoever is listening out there, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. However dismal as it feels, and you feel it's the end of the world, you get over that hump and you can get over anything, trust me. So for me, I had one of my mates. I used to blog for um, a sari group because I love wearing saris, and I would write about my short stories because, as I said, my learning curve as a young person in Australia, I have many short stories of funny incidences that have taken place in my life, and I would narrate those, and people would love listening to those. So I had this beautiful lady who goes, you write so well, why don't you start an Instagram account and narrate those stories on Instagram? And that's how she kind of steered me into that path where I started putting pictures. Now, technologically challenged, I'm not one of those whiz ladies who can kind of go in and do stuff quickly. So I took my time to understand how Instagram works, getting all the fancy gadgets in place and editing reels and so on and so forth. And accidentally, that venture just took off, and some reels went viral. People started appreciating the work that I was putting in, and my followers started growing. So this has been my journey thus far in
It's
Qatar and
really,
social media.
we're going to talk more about your social media, but it's interesting, like you were saying about, being in a very dark place, because I've been in a dark place, not when I was, gone through menopause, but when my mother died. That was the darkest place. And I think coming out of that, it's taken a long time. But what you said was really important because, nothing is constant, right? Change is always happening. And at that moment in time, when you're in that black hole, in that void, in that dark void, you think, oh my God, this is it. This is the end. Nothing's going to be, I'm never going to see the light of day. And it's not true, because eventually the light does kind of start to seep in and you kind of move forward. And I think it is important to say to people that you do come out the other end. It may take whatever time it takes, because it's different for different people, whatever that darkness is. But whether it's through menopause or a life event like that you will eventually come out of it.
And the other point I want to add is, do not ever feel shy to voice your opinions, what you're feeling. Do not bottle it up, thinking, what are people going to think of me? What is someone else going to say? If you are feeling low, you need to voice it out. Whether the opposite person accepts it, does not accept it, the ownership lies within yourself to actually say, hey, I am not right. I am not feeling well. You're pushing that onto the other person for them to then start thinking that, what can I do to put this person at ease? And that shows their true mettle. That will show you your true friends, whether they are there only when the sun shines or when the dark clouds are descending, are they there to back you up? So these periods in life, if you're going through a downtime, be vocal about it, because that will truly show you who will back you up 100% and who's there just for the fun of it.
Absolutely. We could talk again about that so much, but let's move on. Let's move on to the present. So your social media, and that's how I reached out to you, because I saw your reels and I thought they were beautiful and entertaining. And as you said, that has been a challenge. So that's been quite interesting. So is there anything else you'd like to say about your social media or your Instagram? Is there anything else that you're looking to do with that?
So, because this little venture, which I thought was just going to be putting sari pictures or little reels, but this has taken off. Like it just grew exponentially in a very short period of time. So now I'm just kind of, because I predominantly wear saris, so I thought maybe try and become a sari advocate or do some tutorials, because a lot of people have hit me up saying, can you do a sari tutorial, because the way you drape your saris, it's there's a way of it and it fits so well, so can you do? And I've always been very shy in terms of or rather not adventurous in terms of actually doing a tutorial to showcase how things are done. So that's something that I might start looking into options. And yeah, so that's what's going on in my head currently here.
I think that's beautiful because, I haven't worn a sari for years. I mean, due to circumstances. And I'm hoping that through all the stuff that I do, and when I actually, go to events, etc. Draping a sari is an art form, right? I think a sari is such a beautiful, dress to wear. I mean, it's just wonderful. I think of all the clothes I've ever worn in my life, the sari makes you feel the most feminine. I mean, that is it. So yeah, I think that's really, really great. I think it's something you should definitely kind of venture into. So thank you for that. And we're looking forward to that as well, because I can learn a thing or two as well, right? So now we're going to go to a commercial break. And when we're back, we'll talk about the future, what that looks like, and also the bonus part of the podcast. Did you know that You Are Not Invisible After 50 is not just about our highly acclaimed global podcast? Our mission is to empower all women, regardless of colour, creed, class, and culture, across all countries and continents. So, we have 2 empowering courses for you: a free masterclass, Building a Life You Love, Creating Your Own Path After 50. This transformative masterclass is one that you've been waiting for. Are you ready to seize life after 50 like never before? Well, say goodbye to feeling stuck and say hello to the life you love. Don't let age define your limits. Let it ignite your possibilities. This transformative masterclass is your ticket to a vibrant and fulfilling future. But that's not all. Coming in November, we have our innovative introductory business course, Grey to Gold. In today's dynamic business world, age should never be a barrier to success. Say goodbye to age-related stereotypes and hello to unstoppable success. Our half-a-day course will equip you with the skills and confidence you need to conquer the business world. Discover the true value of your experience, reinvent yourself, stay competitive, and master the art of self-presentation. It's time to turn your grey into gold. Don't wait, your future is brighter than ever before. Visit our website and check out our courses geared to propel you to the next level. So embrace your age, utilize your wisdom and experience, and own your success. Spots are limited. Also, we have other wonderful products launching in the new year, so keep a watch on our social media posts and website for more information. www.youarenotinvisibleafter50.com. So, Dimple, let's move on and talk about the future. We talked about the sari draping might be an option on your Instagram. Is there anything that you're looking for? I know you said you weren't a planner, but is there anything you've got in your head that you think, all right, that might be an option?
The other thing which I want to kind of bring to the forefront, particularly for the Indian masses, is my gray, my silver hair. Now, there are not many people who are courageous enough to showcase their kind of mop, their silver mop. They have this particular image in mind that, oh, if you're only dark haired and you have to be perfect, only then society will accept you. I disagree with that. Again, the reason I eventually went gray was water in Qatar is what we call as desalinated, a lot of chemicals. I had beautiful, in 2017, when I moved to Qatar, my hair was up to my waist, thick, long hair. And every time I walked into the shower and I walked out, there was a wake of keratin as I walked past because I started shedding hair as everybody does because of the water. And I thought, and it's not good. It's not good for losing that much hair. You need to keep on touching up your roots because your gray starts showing. I said, this has to stop. And at one point, I just went to the salon and I got them to chop off my hair. And I said, let me just grow my grays out. And I've been confident ever since. And I thought, hey, this is not bad. This is not bad at all. Why?
It's
Why do I need
beautiful.
to? Yeah. And so if you feel that, yes, you have a flair of carrying the grays out, try it. There's no harm. And let nobody stop you from doing it. I did get a few people discouraging me as to, oh, you're only 50s and it's only in the 70s and 80s that people, showcase their gray. Why would you want to do it? And I'm like, no, it's good. It's good for me. It's good for my health instead of keeping or retouching my roots with all the chemicals. And if I've been blessed with a good mop, why not showcase it and bring it out to the world? So yeah.
There's two things there. First of all, I've embraced my grey. I just think it gives me a superpower, as I say. I think you become your authentic self. It's interesting because my mother was dyeing her hair much later in life, where I actually stopped during COVID, and that was my kind of transition. And I just thought I can't be doing any. I loved it. I thought this is
Liberating.
great. Well,
And it's
my it is, and my hairdresser said to me, I said to her, I'm going to go grey one day. She goes, no, it'll age you. And then I went grey, and I thought, this doesn't age me. This is just me, right? So
and
I
it's
love it.
classy. It's
And
classy. It
oh
gives
yeah,
a touch of aristocracy. Like, it's like, oh, look at me.
well, you wear it well, and I think we all wear it well. And there was that point about growing out your grey. The more the more people see, right, in terms of embracing their grey, and especially if they're of the same kind of ethnicity and background, it's important. There's a lot of white influencers who are grey haired. There aren't that many Asian influencers or Indian influencers who are grey haired, and it's about showing up and coming out and saying, hey, this is me. I'm 60, right? I'm going to be 60 next year, and I've got grey hair. I'm a podcaster, and I'm showing up as I am, because what you want to do in this modern world that we live in is change the thinking, is not accepting the status quo, is stepping outside the box, which I know is one of your bonus bonus tips. But I think it's really because I'm very much. I think that's probably why we've attuned to each other, because we're very similar in nature. It's about pushing the boundaries, going forward, not caring. let all hell break loose to a certain degree, and just going, I'm going to go for this. So I'm with you there. And I think the more people show up, and I think one of my reasons for reaching out to you was because you were there. You are different, and I just love different. I just love that. Okay, I can talk about that. So let's talk about the bonus part of this podcast. So what 5 tips would you give to somebody who's under 50?
So for me, how I see it is always stretch your boundaries, whether you're under 50, over 50. As a human being, stretch your boundaries. Do not let society, anybody conform you in that little tiny little matchbox, saying that you can't move within those. No, go for it. If your heart, if your gut says that I want to do it, try it out. What's the worst that can happen? You fail, you get up, chin up, and move on. So that's one thing, and that's how I've lived my life. I've taken the risk to the point where I love tattoos. So if you actually see, I've got a lot of tattoos, but one of this says over here, take a chance and never look back. So go out there, take a chance, and don't look back. Never regret the chance you've taken. You win some, you lose some, chin up and go ahead. So that's one life-saving tip. Do not accept a status quo. This is a segue to one of the points that you made. Do not, when someone, anything in life where you come to a plateau or stagnant point, do not say this is it, because it's never the end. As they say, it's never over till the fat lady sings, and we make sure that the fat lady never sings. So it's as simple as that. You keep going. Even if you have to gag that fat lady, you do that, but you keep going. And always think outside the box. If reinvent the wheel. If you feel that something is not going your way, try a different approach. Always do not give up. Always take the risk, try a different approach, reinvent the wheel, start from scratch, do whatever it takes, but do that. Keep on learning. That's how you evolve. There's no set age. As I said, at age 50, I learned how to use the computers in a way, in terms of technology. Instagram, I didn't know how it functioned. So it was a huge learning curve at age 50 to start thinking, how do I make reels? How is editing done? How are transition reels done? You sit there, spend the time, and keep learning. So there's no age bracket for that. The most important one which I see is, and I would like to quote it, come on, baby, light my fire. Always have that fire within your soul. Always do not let anyone dampen that spirit. Whatever, anything, keep that spark alive. Go crazy. You want to go out, have date nights with your partner. Don't have a partner, find a girlfriend. Just keep that spark in your life. Don't let someone tell you, hey, you are 50 and your life ends here. I get a lot of comments on Instagram where people go like, oh, you're 52, shouldn't you be thinking of doing prayers and visit temples and start singing hymns, and I'm like, no, why should I stop my life? I'm not dying, I'm not dead. And till I'm going to breathe my last breath, I don't know when that's going to be. I'm going to be living my life to the fullest. You have a fabulous partner to back you up, drag that partner everywhere. Don't have a partner, find a girlfriend, find someone, find a mate, but live that life. Don't let that spark die.
I think there's something really important there, because I always say that regardless of where you are, being of Indian origin, whether you're in the UK or whether you're in India, Australia, US, etc., around the world, thinking is the same, and thinking has to move on, right? We do not have to fit in. As long as you're not, my philosophy in life is do what you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody. As long as you're not hurting anybody, it doesn't really matter. And also, if you're not, you need to become a trailblazer, because you need to show people that you can do something different. I mean, as I said before, being a podcaster at 60, who would have imagined? People would say, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing what I love, right? I love what I'm doing. And I thought that gives me, joy and energy. So I think at the end of the day, we need to challenge the norm, the thinking, change it so that the generations coming up don't have to fit in the same box. They can venture out, they can be different. My children, they've seen me grow in the last 7 years since I left my husband. And it's good for them, because it's not about, oh, you should leave your relationships. That I don't agree with, but what I do agree with is that you need to show something different to the norm. You don't have to go and do prayers, puja. You don't have to go to a temple. You can be a good human being doing what you're doing.
Exactly, spot on, spot on. And the lucky last one I would say is travel. Travel when you can. Do not put your plans on hold thinking, hey, I'm going to wait till my kids grow up. Hey, I'm going to wait till they get married. I'm going to wait till they are settled down. Nobody waits for no one. I would reckon if you have the means and the opportunity and the time, definitely go for it, because what you can do at age 40 or 50, you definitely can't do at age 70 or 80. You may have a substantial, healthy bank balance, but no matter how fit you try and keep yourself, your bones may not kind of support you. Your bank balance might, but your bones might not. You don't know where the future takes you. So while your limbs are moving, your brain is functioning. If you have the means to travel, explore the world. It's beautiful out there. Different places, different cultures, different food, meeting people. Go ahead, do it. These are my 5 life-saving tips.
Brilliant advice. And would you give anybody who's over 50 any tips that are different? So only 3 tips that would be different for them.
In my mind, I think I'm 25. So whatever tips are there for below 50, the same as I'm 52, I imply on those. So they're the same ones for above 50.
I love that thinking. I love that thinking. I think that's great thinking.
But in my mind, I'm 25. It's all there.
It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. I think that's really good. Dimple, it's been a brilliant and beautiful podcast and a beautiful conversation. So thank you for coming on and sharing.
Thank you so much for having me. Really loved having a chat with you. And as the Australians say, had lovely having a yarn with you.
Yes, mate.
Good on you.
Good on you. Thank you very much. I just love it. So thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the You're Not Invisible After 50 podcast. If you want to hear more from some amazing women who are over 50, who are kicking ass and making impact, then don't forget to follow us right here on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Remember to subscribe, rate, comment, and share with other women through your social media. Let's spread the word across the world that you don't have to be invisible after 50. Check out our other services on www.you'renotinvisibleafter50.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and YouTube. And always remember that life doesn't end at 50. In fact, it's just beginning.